Well, good morning. It is Motivational Monday. Can you guys hear me okay? This is the absolute last Monday motivation for 2024. And as you know, we always take a look back to see where we've been. We're going to add a lot of other stuff. So I've taken a screenshot. But today we're going to look back. Why are we doing that? Because somehow, some way, it's going to help you to look back at your year. What have you done as the time has flown by? Whatever your answer is, we want to get you motivated for the next year. See, we're 5 years and still connecting with people. And we've done that on a regular basis. So today you're going to get a look at what it's looked like for us through planning and creating and discussing things, because nothing is put here easily. And as we look at things, we are so proud that we just kept going. While all of us have had experience for 2024, we anticipate what 2025 will look like. And so I say to you, as you're thinking about your year and what you've done, it's saying can't add. It's saying can't add. If you want to come in, Trish, can you do me a favor? Can you call the 800 number? Do you want to just go ahead and call the 800 number and I'll pick up? Besides, it'll be fun to do it that way if you can. Because it's going to give us technical difficulty. But go ahead and call in. 800-721-9260. 9260. Yeah. If you want, 1-888-721-9260. By the way, we are going to be having...
Quick talk call. Press 1 to take it.
You there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, that's so much better. Thank you. I don't know why it's giving me problems this year, but we're talking about what we looked like for 2024. Sometimes it looks like time has stood still. And I don't know about you, but every year, when we get to the end of the year for the last 5 years, it looks like time has stood still. But when you're motivated to do something, time is ticking away. You know, we notice time because all of us are time conscious. How many times have you looked at the clock in the daytime? Most of us are having devices. We look at our devices because we say, "What time is it?" How many of you have ever said that or asked that question?
I have.
Yeah. And so when you find out the time, you're looking for the time. Why? Why do you need to know what time it is?
Well, sometimes I need to know what the time is to see if I'm on time or if I'm late.
Yeah.
That's basically most of the time I look for the time.
Yeah. And how much time I got. Yeah. So we have different reasons. But I want to say something in lieu of Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. Time went by and we've totally forgot year 4. You see, year 4, or 2024, we skipped. And how we came back and we said, hey, we forgot year 4. But year 4 helped us to think about what we were going to do the next year. So I don't want you guys to say, hey, they didn't talk about year 4. Because we've been talking about it. We realized time has went by, but that was an important year too. That wasn't a year like they say for the COVID. The year that wasn't. Well, the COVID was a year that was. Because we all experienced that. We all know the year that wasn't was really the year that was. And the reason we say the year that wasn't is because maybe that wasn't a good time for us. Maybe the unexpected. That was a time where we couldn't visit our friends and our families, and our life was changed dramatically. And then we started to take it serious because we began to realize that people were really affected by this epidemic. And if you knew any nurses, if you knew anybody working in the medical field, you began to see the realization of the time that wasn't, but the time that is. That is in memory. Nobody's ever going to forget the year that wasn't. Why are we talking about this? Because 2024, we had really not celebrated the year 2020, or excuse me, the year 4. The year 4 for us was just as important as any other year. And there was that year and that experience. We are saying still happy anniversary to Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. And today is going to be an exciting show because it's going to be one of our last shows for 2024. Don't worry though, we'll be back. And we're going to come back just as strong as we did the year before. So Trish and I, we're going to take you back. We're going to talk about things that you might not have known, things that you are aware of, things that you're going to look forward to. And I'm going to start out with what looked like, think about Thursday. That was once a table talk. That was once where people actually were picked to be conversation, in that their conversation you could actually hear them and you could hear me. Do you remember that, Trish?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And so think about Thursday was a way for us to be able to do a table talk about the week's review. And then we changed it up a little bit. People would ask me, how do I get on that? How do I do that? Well, it wasn't for everybody to be on that panel. It was just for co-hosts, management, and we would invite certain people to call. Now, as the clock has kept ticking, guess what? Think About Thursday has indeed changed. It has changed due to us and time. We've got a little creative. So Think About Thursday is now, as you all have heard about, me asking a question that is related to emotions and feelings, and some of those questions are very deep and hard-hitting. And if you haven't heard them, they're on our YouTube channel. We figured out a way to get people to start talking. And you know how I know it's effective? Because there are people that have said, I love your prompts. I love the questions, which, by the way, were Vibe Talk question of the day. Do you remember that one? Questions of the day. And I think...
Yeah, I remember that one.
I think that's how we started the reels. So we started to add reels because music motivates so many people. Who doesn't love music? We all love music because it's a way to relate. It's a way that we communicate. So we put the question to a reel. We made music. We carefully selected music. As you know, it's just not anything that we put up. And we have realized, wow, 2025, we got people to start talking through asking them things. People are now able to re-ask the question. As they re-ask the question, they're reposting the question. And Trish and I have been able to get that going. See, because we want Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast to be all about emotions and feelings, and we know that everybody does not communicate the same way. Some people are a little shyer, while others will talk about their feelings. Some people are very dismissive of their feelings. So we want to find a common ground so that people will come and talk, and that's what we've done. We have been introduced to Vibe Talk, thinking in your thoughts. By the way, I took a screenshot of this and I'll add that in along with some other things, because I don't want it to be forgotten. I want that to be just as important as any other thing that we've tried and done. And I want you all to be motivated by trying. You know, they say practice, practice, practice. Well, I say never give up. Because when you don't give up, here's what happens. You start to create and you start to emerge to do something better. We don't want to be top dog here. We want to be a great podcast. And because of you guys listening, and we see that you're listening, just in the last thing that we posted, we probably had over 100 plays. 100 and something. So we know that you're out there listening. We even had one podcast that told about all the states that we had. People would call in. And so we appreciate that so much more. You see how things evolve? You start with one thing, and then you come out on the other end with something totally different. Same idea, but a different perspective. It's still all about talking. And so with that has been a hit. Our Think About Thursday. And by the way, the song, I'm very thankful for AI writing that song. It's so amazing what AI can do. They literally, I provided the lyrics and they provided the rest. So we have thinking in your thoughts. How many of us think in our thoughts but never able to express it? And that's where that song came from, my heart. Because sometimes we will think and think and think and think, and those thoughts never materialize. And you say, I was just thinking. Or daydreaming. How many of us daydream? We've been caught daydreaming. I used to daydream a lot. But what we want is our thinking to become immersive for those who are listening, because it's going to give you ideas. We're not going to tell all our secrets, but we will tell you how things emerge. Trish, do you have any comments about thinking in our thoughts?
Yes. I like the song "Thinking in My Thoughts." I actually loved it the first time I heard it because I was like, "Oh, I like this song," because I'm an overthinker, and it's kind of hard to talk about my emotions sometimes. So usually I put it in a song. So that connected to me through that, because I usually put my thoughts into music, and hearing the lyrics of that song, it's like, yeah, that's what we're trying to tell, trying to help you guys, realize that whatever you're thinking about, it matters. And we understand that sometimes you need that space to think and reflect. So thinking in your thoughts, that's what you need to do. So yeah.
Yeah. And so Think About Thursday is all about a question. A question that makes people think. Maybe you've never thought about it. Like I just did one yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was Sunday. I know. But the reason I did it is because so many of you have looked forward to it. And we're getting a lot of response. So go listen to them. There'll be a new one put up this week. And that one was about discovering strength, bravery, and determination. And boy, it was so exciting to hear the way that others felt about that question. Do you find those things in yourself? Discovery, bravery, and determination. Or determination, bravery, and strength. So I found with those questions that people wanted to talk. And I think it's important. What it will look like for 2025 is that in the Healing Center, we will open that as a form of discussion. So you guys are welcome around the world that as you listen to tune in to come in live when you see us. So if you're not following us, we ask that you follow so that you can see when we're on live. By the way, we have 329 followers. Thank you. We're going to go on and we'll come back to what 2025 will look like. Let's talk about Vibe Talk After Dark radio show. That is affiliated with Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. How so? Remember that thing I said about music? And how music is a universal language. Everybody loves music. Can you imagine going to the movies and there's no musical scores? The ratings of movies would go down because we're used to getting thrilled. We're used to drumming up the next exciting move. Without those musical scores, your movie experience would be a lot different. So we brought the music into Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. And the next time, or even today, look up the Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast reels. You won't be disappointed. Why do we pick the songs we do? Because they fit for the occasions. Some tug at the heart. Every song that you've ever heard in life carries a memory. Can you think of a song that has a memory? Good, challenge, life-changing, joy, triumphant. There's all kinds of songs, and I happen to love music. Trish, how do you feel about music?
I love music. Sometimes when people ask me that, I'm like, is that even a question? But I love music. Music is in me. Music is me. So, yeah, music ties into a lot of emotions, and that's why we pick the songs we pick also. And we also pick the songs we pick because it relates to us. And the topics we talk about, we hope that it relates to you. And sometimes maybe we're not saying the right thing, but the artist hits the nail on the head. The artist gets it right, when we play the song. So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Vibe Talk After Dark will stay at its original time, 8 p.m. Saturdays. But if we aren't there 8 p.m. on Saturdays, because what do they say? It happens, right? Things happen. Sunday, we will challenge you to tune in to Vibe Talk radio show After Dark. Vibe Talk After Dark. It is related to us. This year, 2025, we're going to do something. It's going to have its own page. Why? I'll tell you why. Because we've looked at the demographics of it, and we know that you guys love it. We didn't think that it was going to take off. It was just an idea that I actually wanted to start out with, even before Vibe Talk became what you know it as. And then it wasn't a right fit for me, because I never set out to be a DJ. That's not something that I wanted to do. But because I love to be able to help, and my heart is good, and I want people to come together somehow, some way, and music from the real, I said, hey, that's going to be a good fit. It took off. What's the demographics for what Vibe Talk After Dark music looks like, Trish? Because Trish is on that side where she's handling all of that. And I don't get to see it unless I'm tuning into it. So what does it look like that people have viewed Vibe Talk After Dark? Can you tell us?
I have to go look at it right now.
Okay. So while she's doing that, I just want to say, keep tuning in. We're going to do something very special. We're going to play back, starting, I believe it's going to be it's going to be this week. We're either going to do it New Year's Day or evening, and we're going to play every song that we've played. And we are careful to record it because Facebook, Instagram will mute us. But we want you to hear it in its entirety. By the way, Vibe Talk After Dark radio show, you can find it streaming in its entirety. It's been a hit. That's for the year 2024. And we love it. We haven't stopped. So if you haven't gotten a new one, stick with us, because we're going to be live. It needs its own page because you all reacted very well to it. And so as we get a page, it's going to be called Vibe Talk After Dark radio show. So that is where you will do your requests, how you feel about the music, anything that has to do with requests, dedication, we will do that. If we don't get to your dedication, we heard you. And you're going to be able to connect to our 800 number, that 1-888-721-9260. That is our number. We will not be using for the year 2025 503-8993. That number is going to dissipate. It's going away. Why did we wait? Because it took me so long to promise you the 800 number. You see, when we are looking for business and we're doing business, we want to put it in at the right time. So that means wherever you're living, you can call that number and it's toll free. We want to make it accessible to everyone. And for the locals, you can still call the 800 number. We have come so far. Time has flown by. It doesn't stand still. As we have been together for exactly 13 minutes. Time has went by. Trish, anything you want to say about Vibe Talk After Dark?
I'd like to say that Vibe Talk After Dark is on our YouTube channel right now. It's on our Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast YouTube channel. You could find it in our playlist section, or where it says podcast, you'll see our logo right there. It's a Vibe Talk After Dark radio show. And the music there is very chilled, relaxing. If you think about driving home from work music or just a late night drive, that's the kind of music that we're playing there. And my favorite ones that we have done in honoring people, celebrating people. The thing is, we didn't call it Vibe Talk After Dark Radio Show with the Tina Turner one or the Olivia Newton-John one, but it's crazy how it fits so well together. Like, it fits so well, and I put that in our in that section because it was Vibe Talk After Dark Radio Show. We just didn't know it yet. So, we do celebrations of people, honoring people that has impacted us as a society with their music and their art, and we learn facts about them, fun facts about them, and I just love music, so when I listen to it, I make sure that I'm just laying down and relaxing, and sometimes I never heard certain songs before, so I add it to my playlist. I have a calming music playlist, so I add some of those songs there because when I need to calm down when my day wasn't so great, I put some of them there, and that's what makes it affiliated with Vibe Talk, Facing the Lion podcast, because music is healing and music is therapy for people. So that's what Vibe Talk After Dark Radio Show is to me.
Thank you for that. We have enjoyed it, and so it's going to get its own page. So look for it in January 2025. I am going to start working on its own page. That's where you can...
I'm excited about that.
Yes, and we're going to talk about that in our meetings, so that if you have any ideas, Trish, you can I always want you to input, because this is not a one-person show. Your thoughts matter to me. So, Vibe Talk is all about dedication, and I'm glad that she brought out, Trish, my co-host, has brought out some things, because you will know what vibe we are trying to carry. It's important at nighttime for self-caring to wind down. Winding down is part of what the body does to reset itself for the next day's adventure. And Trish, you brought that out so beautifully about how you listen to it. So if you want us to play fast party music, maybe not. But there are some cool beats from songs that are relaxing. But we want to make it smooth and chill. We want to keep it where it is giving you that vibe. When you step into my office, you will get nothing but chill music. So we want you to know that. We want you to be able to write to us, tell us how you feel about what we just played. And like Trish says, some of the songs that I've heard, that was my first time hearing it. I've got some other music that's because I love music, and so when I hear something, it's like, wow, that was a really cool song. By the way, we are going to do this Saturday celebrating songs from the 70s. Got some really cool songs. So we're hoping you're there. What is nice about Vibe Talk After Dark is here's what we do. We record it, it's streaming. If you hashtag Vibe Talk After Dark radio show or Vibe Talk After Dark, you're going to hear some of the music that we played. So stay tuned. And we're going to be right back after these commercial breaks. We'll be right back. We are back. We're back. And we're going down memory lane. For the year 2024, looking back. A visual picture is worth 1,000 words. And I quote. We put these images for you to understand and see. So, how does it look so far? I know, Trish, some things are missing. We're going to talk about Trish's treasures, and this is a good time for Trish to talk about it, because normally this would be Trish's treasures. Go ahead, Trish.
So, Trish's treasures is basically me talking about my insight on our topics that we have, and sometimes I will come on camera on our YouTube page to talk about me loving nature or just enjoying my day, or giving you something motivational, because when I'm walking around the house and cleaning, I'm like, I think somebody needs to hear this today because I needed to hear that thought. So let me just talk about it. Let me just say it. And the funny thing about that was I wasn't used to doing that before until I got my segment in Trish's Treasures. So just me just expressing my emotions and my feelings on my segment. It becomes hard sometimes, but right now it's easy. It gets easier and easier the more that you do it. So I'm happy for it, and you don't just see me for outside for nature, but also you can hear some of my music too, because like I said, music is healing. So sometimes I'll make a song about the topic that we had. For example, my song Unstuck, you can hear me in the recording doing my Trish's Treasures for that podcast, and I put it in my music. You can hear that. And It's Gonna Be Okay. That was for Transformation Tuesday when we had to draw our butterfly, or pick out a butterfly that resembles us. Do you remember that? The one? Because
Yes.
I chose the gold butterfly. That's what I chose. And so I wrote "It's Gonna Be Okay" about my experience with suicidal thoughts and how I overcame it and telling myself that it's gonna be okay. Trisha's treasures can get very deep. Just letting you guys know. But on the lighter side, the brighter side of things, I do make joyful music, but my music is always real. When you hear me on my song, I say Queen Fire on the track. It's a real one. I mean it. It's a real one. I'm going to tell you something that's for real, and that helps me give it to you straight, because I try not to. That's something I'm working on too. My Trisha's Treasures has helped me learn to be direct, and my music also helps me be direct as well. So you can hear my music on Trisha's Treasures, and if you want to know where my music is, I have a music channel, guys. It's called Queen Fire. I also have a SoundCloud, Queen Fire as well, and Audio Mac, Queen Fire. If that is spelled QU33NFIY4. Again, that is spelled QU33NFIY4. You can find my music on YouTube, SoundCloud, Audio Mac, and some of my music on Spotify. So if you want to be motivated, or you want to get all of your feelings and connect with yourself, I feel like my music does that. I don't want to toot my own horn, because I'm not one to do that, but I feel like my music does that for me, and I hope that it does that for you. So that's what Trisha's Treasures is about, and it's affiliated with Vibe Talk, Facing the Lion podcast. Let's not forget that. And you'll see that because the topics I talk about, that's what we talked about during the day. The art that I do, that's what we talked about during the week, and things like that. So that's what Trisha's Treasures is.
Yeah. And we're looking forward to maybe Trish doing her own page for Trisha's Treasures. I see in the future a lot of potential with that. My personal feelings about Trisha's Treasure, I see strength, courage, and wisdom. That's our song for today, by the way. That's our reel. I needed to pause because I'm just thinking about what Trish said about the impact of Trisha's Treasures. I'm so proud of you, Trish, for accepting that challenge. You know, we use the word challenge accepted on Fridays, and Trish stepped up. She really is doing her thing with that. She is just as important, just as equal to myself. You see, when you have a good thing going, here's what I want you guys to get motivated from. You're not always the top dog. Sometimes, if you find the right people, you can be successful together, and that's what her and I have shared. No one is going to outdo the other. We stay in sync with each other. We have new ideas. Trish has perhaps more views than I may have had in a whole week, and vice versa. We applaud each other. If you hear nothing that I've said today, stand together in ideas. That's how things are created. You know the TV shows that we all like? You can probably think about your favorite TV shows. There are writers, co-producers, illustrators, prop sets. A lot goes into what you may think is a one-man show. We are two women from different sides of the track, and we have similarity, and we come together. Trish, I love our Wednesday, every other Wednesday meetings, because her and I come together, and when I say something, Trisha's like in my brain, where she actually creates it. By no means was it an accident that I fell upon. It was a reason for why we met. I'm here in West Coast, California, and she is... Sure.
I'm in South Carolina.
Yeah. How did it happen? Because when you're determined to do something as time flies, you don't give up. Like we said, time flies. Think about it. If you watch the clock every day, all day, 24/7, it will move by slowly, but it will move. But because nobody's asked what time it is, we just said it's time to do Vibe Talk. For 5 years, we have connected with you all. Moving on. Facing our challenges, whatever you faced from January 2024, starting the very first day. Now it's going to be January 2025. You may be still facing that challenge. Let's get into it. We have lost so many people. People that we know by name. Here's a few of them. Quincy Jones. James Earl Jones. Jimmy Carter. Are there any more, Trish, that I may not be naming that you can think of? Are you there?
I'm here. I'm just thinking.
We've lost so many people. But I want to tell you something. Let me say this. There are people that we don't know. Perhaps your loved ones. Perhaps co-workers, children, grandparents, mothers, fathers. Some we will never know. And you had to face the challenge of losing them. And I take it there because life can be taken for granted. Because, you see, we think we have so much time. And yet what we find about time going by, it is very, very fragile. I want you to think about it as this. I love flowers. Boy, do I love flowers. If you've ever looked at the detail of a flower, It's so amazing to see the detail inside of a flower. Let's say a rose. Can you smell it? They come in all beautiful shapes and sizes and colors, variation. But when that flower begins to wither away, it loses its smell. It loses its fragile detail. It becomes withered. Petals start to fall off. What I don't want you to forget is that it's still a flower. Time flies and waits for no one. I said that because we take for granted. We have family members who don't talk to one another. We have family members that are jealous because someone has something that you didn't go out there and work for, when you should be cheering them on. Life will not stand still. Just like that flower, you will be fragile. You will not lose your value, but you will decline. Maybe you're going to decline in health. Maybe you're going to decline in the way of your fast-paced living. You're going to stop living like that. Maybe you're going to get better. Because I've actually saw flowers when they're and I'm saying a rose because it stands out in my mind. When I was a little girl, I would watch my mother prune flowers that looked like they were dead to me. And if you catch them in time, you can revive them. So whatever it is that you're going through right now, right today, in this day of 2024, think about the fragility of life. We don't even know what half of you have been through. And that's why we have set it a point in time for Vibe Talk facing challenges. That happens on Friday. You come in and you're able to say what you need to say. Personally, that's my favorite. And I'm going to tell you why. Because from Monday to Friday, we never know what to expect. Some of us have been stopped dead in our tracks because the unexpected has happened. I've gotten phone calls where someone has died, and I didn't get to say goodbye to them. I didn't know that was our last conversation, and I get a phone call. See, they didn't get to face their challenge, but we do. My family, your family, right now in my family, people aren't talking to each other. So I took a personal break. Not because I don't love them, because I'm wondering if they're knowing or notice time. We don't have a lot of time. And I always ask this question to my family. When are we going to meet again at another family reunion? It has become a family reunion to bury your loved one in my family. It breaks my heart. So if I'm the initiator of all the family problem, let me take myself out of the equation and see what happens over time. And guess what? Nothing has changed. That's a personal reveal. So, hug your family, love your family, be grateful for your families, because somebody out there in the year 2024 has lost family members. Somebody out there has lost whole family members. We may not know their story, but it's happened. So we're facing challenges. I think those are important things to talk about, don't you, Trish?
Yes, I do, because that just made me think about how not just meeting up with, like, the time, like, they slowly separate. They get further and further away, the times of meeting my family members and things. Like, I see, okay, we met on the holidays, but all of a sudden, like, 2 holidays later, we see them. 3 holidays later, we see them. Then all of a sudden, when are we going to see you again? Like, we haven't seen you in 3 years. It turns into things like that. And I don't know. I'm not going to say I don't think they realize how it affects people, because maybe they're not thinking about that. Maybe they're not. So, from my perspective, it hurts me. It affects me a great deal, because I love my family. And some family members, I just met them, and I'm like, oh, I think we can get very close, guys. Like, we can be best friends. And all of a sudden, 5 years later, that one meet was the last meet that we had. And it's sad. And I think about when we spend time together and how they arrive in the morning, right? And when you're spending time having fun, and all of a sudden it's nighttime, and it's like, whoa, where did time go? Spending time with the people that you love, because you don't look at the clock. Sometimes they're like, okay, I gotta go at 4, and then they look at the clock while we're having fun, and they're like, oh, it's 7. We have to get out of here. And there are times like that, but time matters. Like, we should value it while we still have it. And I love reading the Bible, and the Bible talks about spending every day like it's your last day.
Yep.
Like, that's very important. Like, that hits, like, very important. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Yeah. You know, another personal thing of mine is that I was supposed to, as you know, spend some time with my nephew. And in the beginning, when he had planned the Airbnb for me to come to, because I am a busy person, my whole schedule, as you know, was put on hold because he was coming out from East Coast. I hadn't seen him, and he was telling me all the things he wanted to do. That never happened. We need to talk about this, guys, because, you know, we come on the radio, okay? And we do these podcasts, and you may think we have no challenges. We're speaking, like Trish said, about the music, that it's real. Vibe Talk is real and raw. And my nephew hadn't seen, you know, the people that he wanted to see that were connected to me, who, for whatever reason, they're not speaking because they don't like something you say. They don't necessarily agree because you're not calling them every 20 seconds. It works both ways. We even had a podcast where I asked everybody to reach out to someone that you hadn't reached out to. If you couldn't talk to them, send them a heart, send them a smiley face. It goes so far. The gist of the story that I'm trying to tell you guys is that I noticed even in my family, the lack of communication. The lack of coming together on happier occasions. The lack of celebrating someone else. Every day I tell people, celebrate life. Don't wait until that person has passed to say what you have to say. And a lot of times, what happens in my family is one person gets mad at the other person, and then it's a whole big mess. I call drama. So either I'm going to be a part of it, or I'm going to separate myself and see what happens, and it still happens. That's why Vibe Talk is important to me, because things have affected me the way that they have. And I've healed from them. I'm no longer hurting behind the family not talking, because I realize it's choice. It's a choice. We're moving to the healing center. Is how we got here. The healing center. Oh boy. Oh boy. I want to let you all know the healing center is not just for the people that need the healing. It's for everyone who would like more information. It's for anyone that would like to come and be supported. We are not a clinic. We are not doctors. We are not medical professionals. Vibe Talk, the Healing Center, is all about support from trauma, tragedy. Because here's what Tricia and I have found out. The more that we have talked to people, the better they've gotten. And some people refuse to heal. The Healing Center is an open center where you don't have to worry about if you've got insurance, if you're poor, if you're homeless. In fact, someone said to me, I was homeless, and now I'm trying to get on my feet. Can I come to the Healing Center? I said, of course you can. Great, they said. I'll be there. It's going to help you, motivate you, transform you, hopefully, to your wellness, your own wellness. And by the way, just because people go to mental and emotional therapy of any kind, stop allowing them to typecast you as crazy. There are real people out there, and let me tell you something. Since the Healing Center people have signed up, people are suffering from all kinds of things. We want that center to be the place where you feel safe to come to and say, I just need to talk. Because we're going to have group sessions, just like we've done here. That's what we started out as. You guys remember? Trish, do you remember?
Yep, I remember.
People got on. We started conversations. We let them know how we were going to do it. Now you're going to be in an open center. And guess what? Even if you are too far away from the center, you can still be on Vibe Talk live just like you are now. Because every time we open our center, we're going to be sure on our group center to record it so you know what it sounds like. Now you know what it looks like because you have a visual picture. You've heard us. We've been around since 2020. Our individual sessions are even going to be a thing. We won't be recording those because those are more private and sensitive. A lot of people do not feel safe talking recorded like this. Those are our one-on-ones. Anybody can come. Our one-on-ones are going to be scheduled, but we're going to allow many people to group together. We have a celebration coming up this Saturday. I'm so excited about it. Trisha and I are going to each give a speech. We're going to let you know through the video how powerful our Vibe Talk has been. The impact. Even if one person shows up, we will celebrate on January the 4th, Saturday, from 12 to 2 p.m. If you're in another state, just click on our live. We are looking forward to 2025. I love this year how we did 2024 celebration. We said happy anniversary. You've said happy anniversary. But we're talking about time and connecting and looking back on what has happened all this time. I guess by now you should know that our theme podcast for the last Monday in 2024 is Monday Motivation. Time is of the essence. That's our theme today. And we're going to talk about one last thing. You know the question that we used to ask, and we still ask, what did you learn and discover from today's podcast? Time is of the essence. I'm going to ask that now, but it's going to sound like this. What is your take home from today's podcast? Trish, I'm going to start with you.
Well, my take home from this podcast today is that using my time wisely is very important because we cannot control time, and what we do with our time matters. And when I got my segment, Trisha's Treasures, I actually thought, it'll take time to grow on me because I didn't know what I would do with it. And I realized that it was in me. It's about me. It's inside me. So all he had to do was take the time to embrace it and do and act on it. Take the action. And time is so important. And the way we use it and the way we need time. That's the thing. We need time. Time is so important. We need it and we want time. And the thing is, how we use it and how we product through the time matters. Our decisions and everything that we do. So that's my take home from this podcast.
I love that. Thank you so much. I think for me, time management, what we're doing with our time, I look at myself. Am I wasting time? And if so, how can I manage my time? I look at, every podcast, everybody loves the idea of doing their own podcast. But when we go back and self-check ourselves, did my time matter? And I can affirmatively say, my time mattered because you listened. Going back now to 2020, I said this one time. If one person listens, that's a life saved. Because yes, you are valuable just like that delicate flower. If you feel as if you are withering away and nobody notices, we noticed. That one number turned into 2 numbers, 3 numbers, 20 numbers, 50 numbers. If we were to count up how many views each video was and adding them up, it would well count over a few thousands. Because you matter. So the time that we have spent in here for the last 5 years and we're still connecting means everything. Because that was my one time that I said, if I could just get one person to listen. And then I challenged it for 365 days, and we've been going strong even then. There was a time we were on every day. Now, because we have so many videos, we want you guys to anticipate us. Anticipate the next conversation. Because somebody somewhere today is going to be motivated to do something great. We wanted to give you a background of visual. We're not done with this visual because we still have some things missing. Trisha's treasure, that picture's missing. But we've done a lot. And we don't want you to just set a goal. We've talked about this. Or a resolution, because a resolution is different. A resolution is saying that you're going to do something. But now a commitment means that you have obligated yourself to do it. Taking action. That's what I got from today's programming. We hope you'll share it. We hope that you'll be in celebration with us. Whatever time it's going to be on January, Saturday, from 12 to 2 p.m., You will be able to see us live wherever you're living. Just know that I'm going to be on California time. Come and see what it's all about. I can't wait to celebrate with you guys at our new healing center. Everyone's welcome. And we're not afraid to tell you we accept donations. Nothing is going to have to be paid for. Even if we don't get a chair, a table, we're going to do it ourselves. But we willingly accept your donations. We're not afraid to say that. Because we've worked hard. We don't expect it because we know that there's willing hearts, willing hands. We see it. And this is for a great cause because there's going to be families that are going to need workshops. We're going to be doing workshops with creative art, interaction, events. We really pushed for a healing center. I said that. And I'm so proud that we stuck to our goal. I knew that in time there would be a place and time for us to get that building. And I waited and waited. I've had offers. It wasn't the right fit. And this is so beautiful. We're so thankful to everyone. I thank you to my amazing co-host, Trish. Thank you. I thank you, listeners. Thank you. And I thank all of the social media networks. Because without you, life would be much harder. But you're all getting it. Thank you. And remember, time is of the essence. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Trish. I'm going to click you off so that we can end our Motivation Monday. And thanks, everybody. We'll see you back here for another edition of Vibe Talk Facing the Lion. Thanks, guys. Because I don't want you just to make a resolution. I want you to think about. I was really bad the news, and then I got the vibe.